What's up, y'all? It's your girl E, and welcome to my channel, Vibing with E, where the vibes are always good over here. And if you read the description down below, then I'm pretty sure you know it's another story time about a night that I will never forget. This night was something crazy, like I will never ever forget this. So let me get this story started. Now, this happened like a few years ago. Maybe I'll give it maybe 4 or 5 years ago, right? I was living in these apartments, and the way the apartments were made, they were like duplex homes. So it was like, I guess, two family homes side by side. And they were like a line of these homes all down the street, right? So that's how the apartments was. So I'm chilling with my girlfriend at the time, Shy, right? So we at the house, we having a cute little movie night, making us some chicken nuggets, eating popcorn, drinking soda, just a bunch of random little junk food fest type thing, right? So we just chilling. So Shy asked me what movie did I want to watch, and I was like, I really don't know. So she was searching through the movies, and she was like, shoot, let's watch an old hood classic. Let's watch Boys in the Hood. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm always down to watch that. So as she puts the movie in, I go in the kitchen. I'm checking on the chicken nuggets, and while I'm in the kitchen checking on the chicken nuggets, all of a sudden I hear this banging noise. The noise is just like boom, 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 and I'm just like, what in the world is that? So I'm coming back to my bedroom, and as I come in my room, I can see Shy. She's sitting on my bed, but the way my room was set up, the bed was like by the window. So Shy is sitting like right on the edge of the bed, and you could pull the curtain back and look out the window like that. So Shy is looking out the window, and I'm like, "What's going on? What's going on out there?" And she was like, "Girl, they going to war." So I'm like, "What's going on?" And you can hear pow 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 pow, like it's Iraq outside. Like, what's going on? So she was like, girl, I can see everything. I can see everything. And she was like, I can see the fire coming from the blickies. Like, I can see everything. And I'm like, what is going on? And she was like, girl, get down. Just get down. So I get down on the floor. She's still peeping out the window. And all of a sudden, we just hear tires just screech off. And then it just gets completely quiet after that. So once that happens, I'm just laying there and I'm just scared to death. Like I'm just shaking and I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? What just happened? So Shy like, girl, I seen everything. I seen everything. They was driving on a car that kind of looked like mine. She was like, I seen the flashes coming from the blickies. Like they was popping back and forth at each other. It was a few of them. She was just like, I can't believe I'm seeing this. And I'm like, we sitting here watching Boys in the Hood on TV, and the Boys in the Hood was actually outside. So I'm just like, oh my goodness, oh my God. So it's just complete silence. Like we don't hear anything. And then all of a sudden we hear another car, tires screeching, going down the street. So I'm just like, oh my God. So I'm just thinking like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, it's completely quiet. The person that lived in this apartment, and this apartment was two houses down from me. So basically, it was the apartment with a two-family home that was next door to me, but it wasn't the one that was right to me. It was the one on the opposite side, basically. So one house over. So I'm just like, whoa, this is crazy work. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, I don't even know what to do. But I knew the girl that lived over there. So I'm just like, I just hope she okay. I know she got kids. Like, oh my God. So with that being said, I walked to my front door. Shy is behind me walking. And we cracked the door open just a little bit. And what did I do that for? Because when I cracked that door open a little bit, the girl that lived in the house, and I'm going to give her the name Sherry. So Sherry was at the house and she was standing out on her porch, and I could just hear her like, oh my God, oh my God. So then she sees me apparently like peek my head out the door. And as soon as she saw me, she just started yelling, come help me, please, y'all come here, come help me. And I'm just like, hell no, I'm not going over there. So I can look. and see where Sherry is standing on her front porch, and she's just looking down, just yelling like, somebody just come help me. Y'all please come help me. And I'm like, what in the world? And she was like, he right here. He laying on the ground. And I'm like, who is that? And she was like, one of the guys that was trying to get in my house. And I'm like, oh my God. So Sha comes out the house, and she's looking, and the girl like, y'all please come help me. Come get my kids. Come get my kids. And I'm just like, I can't. I'm scared. And she like, please just help me. Just help me. And I'm like, I am scared to death. I'm scared to go over there. So yeah, y'all, I was just terrified. I was just like, I cannot go over there. I am so scared. So Sha was like, man, we can't leave that girl over there like that. We gotta go help her. Like, come on. So I'm like, who? She was like, you, come on, let's go help her. Come on. They gone, man. I seen everything. They gone. Come on, let's go help her. So I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, okay. So y'all, I'm shaking. Like, I am shaking. I'm terrified. But I'm walking over there. So we get to her house and we get to her porch, y'all, and no lie, like this guy was laid out in front of her steps, like 3 feet away from the steps, from her front steps. You can see his body twisted up on the ground. He got a ski mask on and he had on some blue latex gloves. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm just looking like you could tell it's a young guy. And I'm just like, oh my God, like just oh my God. So when I see Sherry, she's just like, y'all, come on, just come on, help me, please. Can y'all get the kids? Can y'all get my kids? So Sherry had two little twin boys. So we go in the house and we get the babies out the bed, and the babies they don't look really scared or distraught. It's just like I'm really thinking they might have slept through the whole thing. How? I don't know. But I honestly think those babies will sleep throughout the whole entire thing. So we go get the little boys. And as I'm holding the babies, and I'm just asking her, like, what happened? Like, what was going on? And she was like, well, me and my boyfriend, we were laying in the bed or whatever. And she was like, everybody in the house was asleep. And she said, I happened to get up and, walk through the house and, locking the doors and just checking, making sure everything is okay. And she was like, as I was going back to my room, I heard glass breaking. So she was like, when I heard the glass breaking, she said, I stepped in my room and I could see somebody at my room window knocking glass, just hitting my window, knocking the glass out the window. She said, and as that was going on, then all of a sudden, somebody started kicking at my front door and somebody started kicking at my back door. And I'm like, what? And she was like, yeah, they were trying to get in here. And she was like, my boyfriend was in here asleep. So when he heard that, he got up, grabbed his piece, and we went to the door. And he was yelling, y'all better stop or I'm going to pop. So she said when he says that, it's like the banging from the back stop, the banging from the front stop, and you can hear people yelling and saying stuff back. So she was like, then all of a sudden they start kicking at the door again, kicking at the door again. And she was like, my boyfriend just started popping and they started popping back. So they was having a popping match. She said, then all of a sudden we heard them yell something and drive off. She said, I opened the door. He outside on the ground. And I'm like, oh my God. And she was like, yeah. So I'm like, where's your boyfriend? She was like, well, my boyfriend just got out of jail for some stuff. He ain't even supposed to be having nothing. So he just left. So I'm like, oh my God. So I was like, okay, so we finna get these kids and then we just finna take them over to your cousin's house. And I'm like, where are your cousin's house? She was like, my cousin is the girl that stayed right next door to you. So I'm like, okay. So we take the twins, we go over to our cousin's house. I take them in the house. And when I take them in the house, the cousin is just like, man, I just knew it was a matter of time. I just knew something like this was gonna happen. That guy she dealing with, I just knew it. And I'm just like, girl, this is crazy. Like, I'm scared. Like, this is crazy. And y'all, I ain't gonna lie. This was a little hood area. This was actually my first apartment. I know hood activity. I haven't actually been in it or been that close to it actually until I moved into my first apartment. That's when I started hearing the pow pows and ducking in the house and all that type stuff. Like, life was real. So being that close, actually seeing a body, like, whoa, first 48. So I'm just like, this is crazy. I don't know what to do. This is crazy. So we go back over to the girl house. She was like, she called the police already. They say they on their way. And she just standing outside and she just scared and she's crying and she's just like, you know what? All day long, me and my boyfriend, we've been on Facebook, we've been posting. People just mad because me and him got together. He proposed to me and he got me this nice ring. And she shows this gold like cluster type wedding ring or engagement ring. So I'm like, okay, that's nice, boo. And she was like, yeah, he got me a ring. He brought my baby some TVs. He brought them a game system today. He did this, brought me this necklace. Like, she's just showing and telling us all the stuff that had happened. And I'm like, well, girl, first of all, your first big mistake was I see these big ass TV boxes sitting outside, and you know where we live at, in the hood. They know you got some new ish in your house. They coming up in there. That was your first mistake. I'm like, so you think it's just some random person or it was some beef? So she really wouldn't say too much. She was just like, I don't really know. It's just crazy to me that all of a sudden, once we get together, this, that, and the third, now something like this happening. And I'm just looking like, girl. But I'm just steady telling her, and I'm just steady thinking to myself, somebody seen your stuff outside and they wanted it. And they was coming to get it at no cost. So the people that actually live next door to her, they end up coming outside and they like, what the hell going on? And we explaining and we telling them, and the guy that lived in this house um was the hood pharmacist. So he didn't really want no parts of it. He was like, the police walk up, I don't want no parts of that. So when the police came up and we were talking about it or whatever, he stood there and listened for a little bit and was like, yeah, I don't know nothing. And he just walked off and went back in the house because he was like, he ain't got time for them boys to be busting up in his stuff, getting his ish. And I don't fault him. Like, bro had to make his coins, okay? So he went on in his house and we just all just outside and we just talking to the police. And then they tell us, well, we basically tell them what we seen or what happened. And basically I'm just like, I don't really know too much. I don't know nothing, but the only thing I can tell y'all is baby girl got new stuff outside her house, and y'all know the neighborhood that we living in. So pretty much, basically, I'm thinking if somebody came to break into her house, they wanted these new items that she had. So the police officer was like, okay, whatever, thank you for your statement. And they took Sherry with them. We gave Sherry a t-shirt to put on because baby girl was out there with a little spaghetti strap on shirt, cold, crying. And so we went to the house, went back to our apartment and got her a t-shirt, and Sherry went on with the police. So not too long after that, I'm sitting outside on my porch because at this point the whole neighborhood out. Everybody is out watching. This bail bondsman lady walks up to me, walks up in my yard basically, and was just telling us she had just got a phone call from, I don't know if it was one of the guys or whoever getting ready to turn himself in or something. And she was just like, yeah, this gonna be a big mess. And she was like, I can't believe this mess happened. And then she was like, and with them boys. And she was like, Sherry, I know Sherry. I know Sherry ever since she was little. And she was just like, I just really hate this for her, that this is a nice girl. And I really hate this for her. Sorry if my sound is off or different. My microphone just died. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do that. Hit that like button. Comment, y'all. Let me know that y'all liking this story, okay? Let your girl know something. All right, so let me get back into the story. So yeah, so the bail bondsman was just saying, I've known her ever since she was a little girl. And yeah, like, I really hate this for her. And she got those two young boys. I just really hate this whole situation. So she was just like, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be some smoke in the city, this, that, and the third. And I was like, I hope not. Not over here where I'm at with my baby. So, because at the time I did have my daughter, but this particular night my daughter wasn't with me. She was at my mom's house. But yeah, we lived there. I ain't got no time for no drama. So we all happen to be sitting outside just talking about the whole situation, everybody in the neighborhood, going from house to house, talking or whatever about it. Then all of a sudden, the news people pull up. And I'm just like, whoa, what? So we see the news people pull up, they all outside, they talking and asking people questions or whatever. And I ain't had nothing to say because, so I done talked enough. I ain't had nothing else to say. So the news people come and, they do their little news coverage or whatever. And that's that of the situation, or so we thought. So a little later on that day, I think Shy happened to be talking to Sherry on Facebook and was just basically asking her if she was okay, if she needed anything, this, that, and the third. And Sherry was just basically telling us thank you for coming to get her kids and being there for her, being there by her in that situation or whatever. She was like, she think basically her boyfriend was going to get off because it was self-defense. So even if, he wasn't supposed to have what he had it for protection at the time, and, it saved their life because it could have been them versus them, basically, right? So she was like, everything was going to be good with him. She was just shaking up, and she was basically like, y'all gonna be getting a new neighbor soon because I'm moving the hell out of there. Them guys know where I stay. And then this happened, and she was like, I don't want no parts. I don't need them coming back over there. And, I got kids. So I was like, yeah, that's understandable. And now I'm just, a little scared myself because I got a daughter and it's other little kids that stay over there. So now y'all leaving, y'all gone, and y'all good, but we not. So a little while after that, I'll say maybe 2 or 3 days later, so the guy died, and basically we find out that her boyfriend and this group of guys were basically beefing, and that was that, right? So maybe 3 days later, this girl had came, packed all her stuff, and had been gone. But 3 days later, my daughter is outside playing with some little kids in the neighborhood, and all of a sudden I hear all the little kids running, screaming, and my daughter's running in the house. And I'm like, what's going on? And she was like, that house down the street where you said all that stuff happened? Well, that house right down the street? I'm like, yeah. She said some people came by and started popping at the house. And I'm like, what? And she was like, yeah, we was all outside playing, and they started popping at the house. So I'm like, now this is getting crazy. Like, this is really unsafe. My kid can't even be outside playing. So for a while, I just told her, you know what? Don't even go outside and play. If you really want to go outside and play that bad, I'll take you to grandma's and you go over to my house in the country and play. Because this right here is too much. So for a while, I just kept my daughter close. I ain't really let her go outside like that. I think I heard maybe another time after that, somebody else came by and was popping at the house again. So I'm just like, nobody is there. Like, what's the reason? So after all of that stuff happened and whatever the case, we really didn't hear too much, but it was a lot of stuff that happened behind that, for real. Like, I didn't really know the people like that, but my girlfriend knew of them, probably grew up with some of them. And every time you turn around, we heard the rival person going after this person, the rival person going after that person, even at the funerals, all types of stuff, y'all, like crazy-ish. But I don't know all of them details. I don't know all of that. So, it was just crazy for a little while. So, after a while, I had an aunt that had passed. And when she passed, she left her house to me and my sisters. And nobody was living in the house. They were just, I guess keeping upkeep on the house or whatever the case may be. So one day my mom calls and she's like, well, shoot, since you living over there and, you scared and you got all of that stuff going on, why don't you just pack your stuff and just move down to your auntie house and then, just keep the upkeep of that. And plus it'll be cheaper than paying your rent in your apartment. So I was just like, you know what? I think that might be a good idea. So at this point, Me and my girlfriend Shy were really kind of serious, and Shy was living with me at the time. So I pitched the idea to her, and she was like, you know what? I mean, a house in the yard would be better than, just an apartment and a little specker yard, a little scooper yard. So we decided to pack all our stuff, and we moved on up out of the neighborhood and went down to the country. So, with that being said, that's the end of that story time, y'all. And like I always say, don't forget to always stay positive, stay chill, and don't you ever forget to be you. Until next time, love you guys.